Just a minute here, or a second.
Yep.
Okay, we're streaming live on YouTube. We're live on YouTube, Daryl, I guess. So if you want to get going, I'll get the recording going here behind the scene, but we're live.
Okay. All right, it's 6:30 and time to begin our Baxter City Council work session. And we'll do a roll call.
Ross.
Here.
Holman.
Yes.
Licio.
Yes.
Tabbitt.
Here.
Olson.
Here. We are all here, so let's just jump right into it. We're going to talk about the South Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Northfield, specifically about the trail part. So I don't know who's running with this, but jump in.
Yep. We have Brian Drow from Bolton and Mink, who is our project consultant on this, and I'll turn it over to Brian.
Okay.
Thanks, Brad. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We're here to talk to you about a section of a future Paul Bunyan Trail through the South Interceptor and North Forest View project. Hopefully, you saw the exhibit in the packet. The city acquired a 150-foot wide corridor along 371. Generally along 371 south of Highland Scenic for a future Paul Bunyan Trail. The section we're talking about tonight is from the intersection of Fuchsia Drive and Land O'Lakes west and south to Maryland Road. It's about 2/3 of a mile. And the contractor in the South Interceptor and North Forest View section through about a half of this installed water main and sanitary sewer force main, and then requested as part of the project to use the area south of the utilities as a detour route while they were putting in utilities on Forest View Drive from River Vista through Fuchsia Drive, as there was not another, I guess, alternate area to remove traffic, and so to improve their operations. And so a temporary gravel road was built through this section. We've worked with the contractor as to what to do with this and looked at what would it cost to build a full paved section of the trail through that, and that was $116,000. We currently, as part of the current project, don't have funds available to cover that. And so we've continued that discussion and have talked with them and they've presented a cost of $23,000 to take what's been built there and used as the temporary detour route to grade that to a gravel surface to prep, I guess, for a future trail. Also provide access to some of the sewer and water on the north end. There's a good chance there's probably about a 500-600 foot section just off of Land O'Lakes and Fuchsia Drive, depending on how that would develop in the future, that might need to be relocated, but I would say at least 80% of this section would be graded and ready to go if and when the paved trail were to be constructed through this area. So I think this is a pretty good value for what's been done out there to prep for the future trails section. I think that just looking for your recommendation to add, I guess, that gravel portion to the project. I guess with that, I would turn it over to any questions.
Before we have any questions, I just want to note that the item for which Brian is alluding to is in the consent agenda. This portion or the work session is merely to have conversation and ask questions of Brian before you take formal action during the meeting.
So Brian,
curious, is the alignment just kind of the center of what's been the detour route? You know, is the idea that they would grade the gravel into a trail?
Yes.
It will just kind of be in the center of what they've cleared, or the reason I'm asking is the city is working with Great River Greening on a restoration project for that area for forestry. And if the trail is known or staked, you know, so that we could in fact incorporate some of that tree planting and restoration work to fill the corridor back in. Because my guess is the trail wouldn't require that full width that they did for the detour route. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but it's just another kind of opportunity for next year.
Yeah, in general, in the areas where there weren't utilities, 30-foot wide corridor has been cleared, and we would anticipate, centering the trail in that corridor. So there would be, 7 to 8 feet on either side that if there was an opportunity to plant trees back, that could kind of break that area up a little bit.
My second question, Your Honor, Council, is so the balance to pave that section is what, another $80,000 or something like that? Is that simple math for me?
Yeah.
Are there any year-end, you know, kind of funds that were not allocated in other areas of the city budget? I understand you're working within the kind of the constraints of the contingency fund within this project budget, but are there other city potential opportunities? And the reason I bring that up is because and we've had this happen in town before, where a developer would do the grading, and if you don't pave it pretty soon, you lose that. You know, the grading and the shaping of the class 5 just kind of mushes in, and then we've lost that investment if we don't pave it right away. And so that's my concern, is that the timing of gravel grading, kind of the base, really needs bituminous on top of it relatively soon, or we start to lose the value of doing that. So you don't have to answer now, Brad, but I would say, you know, if there's an opportunity to explore other city contribution or fund sources, I think it would be worth thinking about on the pragmatic side.
Just a couple of questions from me, but so I understand this correct. If we stick with the 23,000, we have that 23,000?
Yes.
And that's in the contingency from this project?
Yes.
Okay. And if we go full bore, and to piggyback on Todd's comments there, if that money is not to be found, then that's 80,000 that would have to be budgeted mill levy type dollars. Is that correct too, Brad?
Correct. And you know, I would add to that is the maintenance cost for a 3/4 of a mile road on a yearly basis. And just to answer the question of Councilmember Holman, is, you know, we have had conversations regarding funds, but without knowing what the second half real estate taxes are that were due, not knowing where the revenue's from, and having higher than expected expenditures related to the water treatment plant and other public utilities, I don't feel very comfortable in giving a commitment to another $80,000 for this section of the project.
Other comments, Council?
I guess just to ask the question now that it kind of came out, just curious on if we chose not to do the grading at all, what kind of differences do you see from an engineering point of view as to usability of what's currently out there? I know I drove on it quite a few times this summer, but I don't remember exactly what the conditions were. Would it actually be wiser to just hold off until it's time to pave to do the shape up of the class 5?
Well, I think if the city went that route, the contractor paid basically to construct that detour route as part of their traffic control operations. And so I think they would remove the gravel that's been placed and seed it back to grass, and basically at some point would be starting over.
Okay, so I guess what you're saying is they actually own that base that's there. It's not ours to leave without paying extra at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
Mark?
Just to add to Councilmember Tabbitt's question, would you, Brian, or Trevor, if you want to chime in, talk about the pros and cons of what Councilmember Tabbitt was inquiring about?
Want me to chime in, Brian?
If you'd like, yeah.
Yeah, the one big advantage of of leaving the class 5 and shaping it, we'd shape it down to 14 feet wide so that it would be set up for that trail. But then it also gives us access. We need access on the north end, which was not figured into the original contract, to get back there to maintain that fire hydrant and the valve that's back there. And then about halfway down on that north end off of Fuchsia to 371, there's manholes too that we need to get to be able to clean and maintain sanitary sewer gravity manholes. So we need to get the back truck in there once every 3 years, about halfway down on the north end. So it's going to cause us a problem on a part of it if we don't leave the class 5 in place and the contractor tears it back out. And yes, the contractor owns the class 5 right now. If the city didn't want to pay for it, they would tear it out and haul it somewhere else and use it on another job, I'm sure, in the future. So they're asking for compensation to grade it into 14 feet wide and then leave it in place. We're already gaining quite a bit because we never had to pay, Brian, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't pay for any of the clearing and grubbing south of where the water and sewer comes across 371 down to Maryland, did we?
No, that's correct. We did not.
We didn't have to pay for any of the clearing and grubbing. They're willing to pay for all of the black dirt to be put back in the seeding south of there, right? But we still got the quantities of black dirt and seeding north of there and back to Fuchsia.
Yes.
So we're getting a pretty good deal if we leave it there in place overall. And like I say, it does benefit us big time from a maintenance standpoint. Usability, at least the class 5 would be there. We would keep it closed off to motorized vehicles. We put rocks across on the south end. There's about a 3-foot opening between each rock so that you can't run 4-wheelers and vehicles through there. But at least people would be able to bike and walk through there on that gravel surface really easily. If they take the gravel out of there, then it's going to be back to sand. Walking probably would still be good, Zach, but biking might be a little bit of a challenge. It might be soft spots in there in that sand. So I think that answered most of the questions.
Mark?
Yeah, I would think there'd be some advantage to us leaving it, and I'd even consider leaving it full width, so that you can get a big truck back there right now. But wouldn't there also be potentially some kind of credit for not having to, one, tear it out, and two, putting black dirt and seed over that section of roadway?
There will definitely be some credit on this because we pay by the cubic yard, right, for topsoil, Brian. So the topsoil would be less if we narrow it. There'd be a 14-foot wide stretch that wouldn't be black dirted and seeded.
What I'm saying is why even grade it to 14 feet? Leave it the width it is. That way we won't lose the shape over the time it takes us to decide to pave it. We can always grade it up into a 14-foot trail when it comes time to pave it, so we're not wasting that labor to put it into 14 feet. And, at it being wide enough to drive cars down for a bypass right now, then that's probably wide enough to get your vac truck down there.
The reason we were going to do the 14 feet mark is so that we could get them to pay for putting the black dirt and seeding back on those sides, so that it's narrowed back down to set up for a trail in the future. So it actually cost us less in the future to put the trail system through there. And they're willing to do that at the $23,000 cost. That is lump sum of pushing it back into 14 feet wide, and then also by pushing into 14 feet wide gets it to 6 to 7 inches of depth, versus right now there's only about 2.5 to 3 inches of depth on that class 5. So there's 2 reasons to do it.
Your Honor and Counsel, I'm really supportive and enthusiastic about what Trevor's recommending there and staff recommends. I would, support us moving forward with that project or that option, and still ask Brad and staff to keep an eye for year end and other opportunities to finish bituminous, where and how we can in the future. It may not happen right away, but see where that falls.
Any other comments?
Nope.
I'll add one final note as I do think from what I observed when that was a detour, I don't know if we'll need to, but it might make sense to put it on the Facebook page or in a newsletter that is available for walking and biking. I just remember it seemed like large number of people were out walking and biking on that detour when that was open. So just think this is a good thing for the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a great loop.
Yeah, good point.
Well, I personally, I think that's probably the best of both worlds. Go ahead with it at the 23,000 to get what you're talking about, and then bear in mind Todd's point that if at the end of the year there is some, this wouldn't be happening until next year anyway, correct? So I mean, we would be having some time to balance the books, quote unquote, and to find out. If there isn't, we move on. And
that is correct, Daryl. They won't be doing the work until May of 2021.
Yeah.
And Your Honor, just a quick question for Trevor and Brian. They never did get the final lift on Land O'Lakes and them, did they? Is that still left for next spring?
Correct. Laredo, Fuchsia, and Land O'Lakes still have one more lift of pavement to go.
So they will be paving next spring, just in case we have just saying.
I think I hear your phone ringing. Okay, if we got some consensus on that, then we'll see it again here in a few minutes. Anything else on this subject?
No, there's nothing from staff standpoint, no.
Okay. So I'll look for a motion then to adjourn this work session part.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the work session.
Motion by Licio,
Second.
second by Holman. We need a roll call.
Cross,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Licio,
Yes.
Tabit,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes. And we will be back in 10 minutes, I guess.
So Mayor, this is where you ordered pizza for all of our homes, right?
Yep, it's on its way.
That's what I thought.
He just needs your credit card.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock and time to begin our regularly scheduled Baxter City Council meeting. We welcome you if you're listening. We'll start out with roll call. Brad?
Cross,
Here.
Holman,
Yes.
Licio,
Here,
Tabit,
Here.
and Olson.
We're here. So it looks like we're all here. And so we'll start out with the pledge of allegiance to the flag, if you would. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it
stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. City Administrator, any additions or changes to the agenda?
Yes, we are pulling items 6H and 6I off the agenda as per requested by our project consultant.
Okay. We will do that. Any additions, any public comments?
We received none.
Okay. So we will move right on into the consent agenda. The following items are considered non-controversial by staff and are recommended to be read and passed in one motion. Any council person, staff, citizen, or meeting attendee can request one or more items be pulled from the consent agenda, and the item will be pulled and addressed immediately after the passage of the consent agenda. Otherwise, the following items will be passed in one motion. A, approve city council work session minutes from November 4th, 2020. B, approve city council minutes from November 4th, 2020. C, approve city council special minutes from November 12th, 2020. D, approve of payment of bills and finance report. E, accept utilities commission minutes of November 5th, 2020. F, approve Anderson Brothers Construction Company change order number 4, revising the final completion date from October 30th, 2020 to May 28th, 2021 for the lift station number 11 reconstruction project. G, approve the Anderson Brothers Construction Company partial pay estimate number 2 in the amount of $36,888.28 for the lift station number 11 reconstruction project. H, approve J.R. Furchi Inc. change order number 7 in the increased amount of $13,768.66 for the 2019 Mapleton Road, Jasperwood Drive, and Knollwood Drive area improvements, municipal project number 4129, and 2019 South Sanitary Sewer Interceptor improvements. Okay, sorry about that. We were going to take H and I out of there, so disregard H. Moving down to J, approve moving the electrical service for 13157 Memorial Wood Drive across the road to Fairview Drive in the estimated amount of $5,400 for the 2019 Memorywood Drive improvements project. K, approve the Knife River Corporation North Central change order number 13 in the increased amount of $19,167.46 for the 2019 full depth reclamation improvements and 2019 Memorywood Drive improvements project. L, approve the Knife River Corporation North Central final pay estimate number 13 in the amount of $87,474.18 for the 2019 full depth reclamation improvements and 2019 Memorywood Drive improvements project. M, approve the Pike Plumbing and Heating of Brainerd Inc. final payment application in the amount of $12,866 for the water treatment plant exhaust extension project. And approve the Bolton and Mink fee amendment number 2 in the amount of $192,219 for the South Sanitary Sewer Interceptor, North Forest View improvements, and North Forest View stormwater outfall improvements project. O, approve the R.L. Larson Excavating Inc. change order number 6 in the increased amount of $36,193.21, an extension of the substantial / final completion deadlines for the 2020 South Sanitary Sewer Interceptor, North Forest View improvements, and North Forest View stormwater outfall improvements project as recommended by the Utilities Commission. P, approve R.L. Larson Excavating Inc. partial pay estimate number 6 in the amount of $1,209,750.89 for the 2020 South Sanitary Sewer Interceptor, North Forest View Improvements, North Forest View Stormwater Outfall Improvements Project. Q, approve Anderson Brothers Construction Company change order number 5 in the amount of $16,781.65 for the 2020 Fairview Road, Golf Course Drive, Excelsior Road and Trail Connection, and the 2020 Oakwood Drive Trail Connection Improvements Project. R, approve the Anderson Brothers Construction partial pay estimate number 7 in the amount of $674,212.29 for the 2020 Fairview Road, Golf Course Drive, Excelsior Road and Trail Connection, and 2020 Oakwood Drive Trail Connection Improvements Project. S, approve Simonson Lumber Company LLC development agreement. T, approve the Simonson Lumber Company LLC stormwater facilities maintenance agreement. U, authorize Widseth to complete as-built drawings per development agreement with Camping World Property, Inc. in the amount of $4,000 to be paid from escrow agreement with Vercon dated March 18th, 2019. V, approve the engagement letter with Bergen KDV for the city's 2020 audit. W, approve 2020-2021 trail and pedestrian ramp closures. X, approve 2020 South Interceptor and North Forest View Project, future Paul Bunyan Trail improvements. Y, acknowledge no change in employee dental insurance premiums for the January 2021 renewal with Delta Dental. Z, elect not to waive monetary limits to the municipal tort liability established by state statutes with the 2021 LMCIT insurance renewal. For a motion?
Move approval.
Motion by Zach. Second by Cross. Any further discussion? Look for a roll call.
Cross.
Well, now that I unmute, yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Licio,
Yes.
Tabit,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes. And we have approval on that. If you're following along, we're on number 8, other business. 8A, certification of delinquent utility bills, invoices, and abatement charges. We'll have a little brief explanation there by our finance administrator.
Your Honor and Counsel, you have before you the public hearing to certify the property or to the property taxes, the delinquent water bills that occurred this year. Normally we do twice a year. This year we're looking at doing it once. So it's done semi-annually normally. There weren't any abatements or invoices at this time. I did put in your packet a revised resolution that includes in the Exhibit 1 the 13 parcels that still remained unpaid as of noon yesterday that we'd be looking to certify to the property taxes. As part of that process, property owners do have the opportunity to provide comment, I guess, on the proposed assessment. As of 4:30 today, we haven't received any assessments, or excuse me, any requests to appear at the hearing. I don't know if we've received any at this point. It doesn't appear that there have been any as of the start of this meeting. But it does provide the opportunity to hold a public hearing. So barring any other questions, I guess I would suggest opening the public hearing to see if there are any questions from the public. And then upon completion of the public hearing, you have before you a resolution to consider adoption of the delinquent utility bills for certification with the 21 property taxes next year that would be collected.
Okay, I'm showing 7:09. Look for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved, Holman.
Motion by Holman, second by Lithiel.
Second.
Roll call again, I guess.
Mute.
Muted.
Muted Brad, but I'll say yes.
Yes.
Sorry about that, Cross.
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Licio,
Yes.
Tabit,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Olson.
Yeah. Kelly, do we have anybody on the line wanting to participate?
No, we do not.
We do not. Okay. Seeing and hearing nothing, we'll close the public hearing at 7:10. Roll call again, I guess.
Cross,
Aye.
Holman,
Yes.
Licio,
Yes.
Tabit,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes. So we'll be looking for a motion then to certify those that were furnished to us that will go to the tax roll. So look for another motion.
So moved.
Motion Holman,
Second.
Second.
second Cross. I think he beat you there. So any further discussion? Roll call.
Cross,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Licio,
Yes.
Tabit,
Yes.
and Olson.
Yes. 8B, a public hearing for resolution vacating drainage and utility easements.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. This is a request for a vacation of drainage and utility easements in the White Oak Estates development. Basically, the simple explanation of why this is being requested is the utilities in the development, in the townhouse portion of the development, included some shifting and construction from where the easements were originally intended and where the utilities were originally intended at the time the plat was approved. So what's being requested is that the council open a public hearing, take any comments received, and then consider approval of the resolution to vacate the easements. Once the easements are vacated, the city would accept an easement document to reestablish easements in the proper location to match up where the utilities actually were constructed within the development. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of him? That second part will happen at a later date, Josh, or?
Yeah, so once the resolution is accepted, we would proceed with the developer to get the actual easement document prepared, and we would record the vacation and the new easement at the county at the same time at a later date.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Motion to approve resolution.
I think we got to open the hearing, do we?
That's
Oh.
correct.
I got 7:12. We'll open the public hearing. We need a roll call on that, Brad, or?
No.
Okay. Anybody have any comment? Kelly, is there anybody waiting to talk about this?
There is not.
Okay, now Cross, I'll take that.
Okay, now I'll make a motion to pass the resolution.
Okay, we have a motion by Cross, second by Licio. By the way, we closed it at 7:13. Any further discussion? Now we'll have a roll call.
Cross,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Licio,
Yes.
Tabit,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes. Okay, anything else, Brad or Kelly, we need to be talking about here?
There's nothing else on the agenda other than council comments and administrative report.
Yep. All right, council comments. Councilmember Licio.
I'm chuckling in a really kind of strange way because across my screen, it keeps on saying my internet connection is unstable. And I guess 2020 in a nutshell has been unstable. However, looking to Thanksgiving week coming up, one thing that is so stable, in my humble opinion, is the leadership of Baxter, and especially you, Mayor Olson. I'm so grateful for the role that you play, and Mr. Chapoulis and everyone on the council. And I say this truly from my heart. I'm very thankful that it's the quality of people that we have like you leading us. And I just wish a happy Thanksgiving for all of you and everyone in Baxter.
Wow. I'll have to leave a little something extra under the tree for you on that one there.
Better be under $5.
Trying to get on that good list.
Yeah. Mr. Tabit?
I'll no way to follow that one up, so I'll just say I have no comment this week.
Holman?
I just wanted to call out and give thanks and recognition to the staff. One of the items on our consent agenda was the trail map that, you know, we don't plow certain trails just because of no use. And I think our staff do a wonderful job kind of tracking that to see if in fact there is or isn't use. I was going to bring up, it's pretty obvious where the safe routes, there are like 4 designations, I think, on the legend for how we maintain trails in the winter. And all the way from, you know, priority 1 are the safe routes to school. And now, of course, with distance learning and kids not being in school, that priority probably shifts a little bit. It's a bummer, you know, to see all the faculty and the admin and the kids and families all impacted by that, but it's what we all need to do. Anyway, on the trail side, all I wanted to do was in commending staff for that vigilance and great work. In addition to the safe routes or what looks obvious to be the safe routes to school, those physical trails that go right to a school, there are also kind of mini routes to school. And those are scattered around the community where people go to the bus stop. And so they use our trail system to get to the bus stop. And so after a snow like we had, I still drive around town and I look to see whose foot tracks are on those trails and where, because that's a great way to kind of see how much activity there is. But now that school's shut down, you know, we won't see that, and it might not be relevant until next year. All I would say is that staff keep doing the great work they're doing. Be mindful of where the school pickups are, because those too are routes to school. And I'm thinking about the intersection of Excelsior and Grand Oaks, that if we've got a lot of kids coming kind of from the apartments and some of those other high density residential areas, that might in fact raise or elevate the priority of that trail maintenance, but certainly not this year. This year's going to be what it's going to be. So again, thanks to everybody that works on that.
Okay, thank you. I heard something today, I hope I can repeat it correctly, but the comment was made that if you're planning a large gathering at Thanksgiving and it's not well thought out, you may be planning a large funeral by Christmas. Just saying, you know, that maybe is kind of severe, but at the same time, I think we need to be smart. We need to be careful. And so whatever your plans are, do that. Be smart and be careful. And bearing in mind, Connie touched on it too, it's about being thankful. It's not necessarily, I know it's hard to say because our families are used to doing our thing, but it is about being thankful and a season of Thanksgiving, and we can still do that wherever we are at whatever point in time too. So try to enjoy the holiday, but again, be careful too. City Administrator.
I'll concede the floor to Councilmember Cross. Did you have anything to add?
I was just going to agree with Connie's comments and kind of let it go at that this week.
Sorry about that, Mark.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, just a reminder, the next 2 Mondays, we do have special meetings. Next Monday at 6 p.m., we have the meeting in regards to the bond sale. And then the following Monday on the 30th is the truth and taxation. So just a reminder, we'll be meeting the next 2 Mondays at 6 p.m. For special purposes. The only other item I have is just a reminder, we do have City Hall closed for precautionary measures to protect the health of the general public and our employees. That closure is through the Thanksgiving holiday. We are tentatively scheduled to reopen on the 30th, but is always subject for review, and we'll keep you posted as well as the public posted if we make any changes to that opening date.
Okay, thank you. City Attorney, anything?
Nothing here.
Okay. At this point, then I guess we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Cross, second by Licio. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Cross.
Aye.
Holman.
Yes.
Licio.
Yes.
Tabbitt.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes. Have a great week, and everybody, again, be careful. We'll see you back here again next week. Thank you.